Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ring Classic Episode 5. I am your special guest commentator for this evening, March Spencer. And we kick off with a very interesting matchup as the Armstrong brothers take on Ebak and S.A.M. Now, for those of you who do not know, because we put out a show about once every 3 months, Ebak is the current sitting World Ring Classic Heavyweight Champion. And S.A.M. is the man who currently holds the scepter. Now, again, if you're unfamiliar, the scepter is the grand prize from the Scepter Quest, a triple threat formatted tournament, and the winner of which gains that scepter, which grants them access to a world title shot down the line. Now, we do not know the specifics of that. It's not like some other situations where somebody could just come down and declare, there's a title match right now. It is going to be a set title match. We're not exactly sure when that's going to take place. We do know that he is the next contender for this man's title.
And their opponents, first, from Norwich, England, weighing in at 217 pounds, the Ring Classic Heavyweight Champion, the player
Ebak, of course, a stalwart of British wrestling. He formerly wrestled at BCW. Of course, probably most well known internationally for his work with CWL. Here tonight in Ring Classic, and he's kind of been the flag bearer for the company so far. He won the title as the first televised episode of Ring Classic. He beat Oliver Awesome for it. But he's held on to it since. It's been, God, who knows how long. He had to take, of course, he was injured. He had to take a hiatus. There was an interim championship. And we'll get to details on the on how that worked out later in the night, because there's some interesting developments. But Ebak did end up unifying the titles at the Scepter Quest finale, the same event wherein S.A.M. won that scepter. Now, he's not taking it to the ring with him tonight. Very curious, I think there were some people who would have brought the scepter out as sort of a psychological taunt towards the sitting champion. But here tonight, if for one night only, they are allies. And I imagine S.A.M. just does not want to compromise his ability to win this match. Of course, a massive opportunity from the Armstrong brothers. The ability to take out the #1 contender and the sitting Ring Classic champion is definitely something that's got to be enticing to the massive Scots. See ya. Who's starting this match? We have King Armstrong and Ebak starting this match. Ebak is the heavyweight champion, but it's very, very obvious just by looking at the two of them that King Armstrong is definitely the heavyweight between the two. Light trip there from Ebak. He is going to want to keep this fight dynamic. He's not going to want to come at him the same way too many times because he doesn't want to get caught out of the air. He doesn't want to get smacked down. He doesn't want that to happen. He doesn't want King to be in a position where he can just muscle his way out of a leverage position. Ebak trying to capitalize on that evasion, but gets thrown into the corner. Now, we are in London, England here tonight. That crowd sounded like they were counting with an American accent. I don't know. Look into that at your own risk. S.A.M. getting him up, and the assisted powerbomb to King Armstrong. Now it's interesting, Ebak with the assist on the way down, but on the way up, that was all S.A.M. And we saw that Ebak couldn't even maintain a body lock on King Armstrong earlier. It was very telling about the strength level between these two. So far, no ill will between either man. Neither man really massive stick men. Not great. Not widely known for their acumen as far as verbal warfare is concerned. So you haven't seen them shooting barbs back and forth. This seems to be a sort of a friendly competition situation between Sam and Ebak. But right now, a lot of unfriendly blows coming down from Duke Armstrong onto Sam. Sam hitting the jawbreaker to reverse momentum, and the knee check turning Duke over on himself. Sam now puts Duke in the corner. Curiously, a neutral corner did not put him in to the corner with his tag partner. Maybe a conscious decision, maybe a lack of trust. I say that he puts him into now making the correction and making the tag into that friendly corner. Neither of these men in Ring Classic have much experience as far as tag competition is concerned. Now, of course, Ebak, famously a long-standing member of the Order, so he's got probably the advantage in tag tactics here between him and Sam. I imagine Sam, if he's smart, is going to defer to Ebak's advices. Ebak, of course, now wisely keeping Duke from getting the tag and evading out of the corner. He wants to get Duke out of that corner before he is in a position where he can make that tag to King, because I don't think either man really wants King to enter this match again. Ebak targeting the arms, right? If you can't lift your arm for the tag, you can't make the tag. Of course, now hitting with that Ebak recliner, that gaming recliner, the gaming chair, whatever you want to call it. Trips him up. Ebak getting caught up on the ropes a little bit there. He's in a dangerous spot. He really needs to get out of here. Now, you saw Duke Armstrong very, very consciously turning that Falcon Arrow to keep Ebak with his back to an enemy corner. Now, the lariat and another one. Running a little bit wild on the world champion. And Sam tags himself in. But gets immediately picked up and with an old school power slam by Duke Armstrong. Of course, Duke trying to hit Ebak. I don't know if Ebak thinks he's still legal. Hits the Bulldog. The ref now informing him that there was a blind tag. Ebak not so pleased about it. Thought he was still in the match. Of course, now with that downward elbow, that is an illegal strike in MMA. That's how potent those 12-6 elbows are. Now it gets reversed handspring cutter. Now the Armstrong boys, very much an old school kind of tag team, but you can see they can mix it up with a little bit of modernity as well. Making the tag. The big man going to the top rope. And a leg drop. Ebak possibly accidentally taking out the ref, but breaking up that pin. Now, of course, Sam has to be cautious that the ref is down. Makes the tag. I think I saw the ref kind of looking at him from his back. I think he saw that. Ebak now has got him in the fireman's carry. Ebak slam. Is that enough to get the victory here? The ref goes for the cover. 1. And it is. The champion and the contender come out on top over the established tag team. I think it's very telling. We mentioned that Ebak had more tag team experience than Sam. But it's also very telling that the sitting champion is the one getting the title, getting the pin. Have to see how that plays out, how these men interact. There's one thing. It's one thing to be in friendly competition. It's another thing to sort of ignore the power dynamic going into a major title match the way that these guys are going in. Even now, Ebak almost granting Sam permission to celebrate, Sam being a little bit hesitant about it. Again, it's all about these little power plays come up with the world champion. But speaking of champions, you notice Ivy White's so synonymous with that women's championship that we don't have a match graphic for her where she doesn't have the title. She lost the title at the Scepter Quest finale some time ago, and now she's looking to get back on that train. Well, she lost that title to Nancy Hammer. Both these women not having recent success. Ivy White, of course, maybe a little bit more, as she did manage to retain that title against Amber Arcade some time ago. But needless to say, I feel like this is a new beginning for both women. And it will be very telling as far as who comes out on top. Ivy White, of course, returning to her catsuit ring gear. Back at Scepter Quest, she came out wearing a dress, maybe underestimating her opponent there, trying not to make that mistake here tonight. Also has her hair pulled back. You know, maybe a more serious competition. Now, of course, we await the entrance of Jessica. One name, like Cher, or Bono, or Bowie. No, wait. Anyway, I mentioned before, both people are really looking to climb back up the ladder, and in what, to be completely transparent, is not the deepest division in Ring Classic. Any victory can launch you back into contention. Any victory here can be the most important victory of your career, but as it goes, it could also be the most important loss of your career. Any high talent organization out there, 2 losses in a row is going to be a problem for anybody. This is especially big for these two. Jessica gets a chance to decide whether she is a rough start or a never was. Meanwhile, Ivy White has the understanding that she can either be champion climbing back up the mountain, somebody who is faltered, or somebody who is fallen, somebody who is no longer the echelon at the top of this division. And I guarantee you, both women are equally motivated by the negatives of losing this match as they are from the positives of winning this match. As we open up now, Jessica Irish whip into the corner. Gets her up, gory special. Jessica taking early momentum. Ivy White turns it around. Short, simple, to the point. When in doubt, put your opponent's head on the canvas, and it'll probably be at least somewhat effective. But not as effective as she was hoping, as Jessica surging back. That Russian leg sweep. A target in the arm. And the fingers. Of course, an interesting strategy from Jessica, because Ivy White is an all-round athlete. The biggest weapon she has is that running boot, that single leg drop kick. That will put anybody's lights out. So I'm not entirely sure if attacking the fingers is necessarily the best motive. Ivy White now sending Jessica back into the ring. Goes for a pinfall. Doesn't even get a 1 count. Ivy White has not, I think it's arguable that she's not taking Jessica as seriously of an opponent as maybe she should. There have been several times in this match now where she has chosen to acknowledge the crowd, to taunt them or to celebrate with them. It doesn't really matter. If your attention is not on the opponent in front of your face, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass eventually. And I think it's bitten Ivy White in the ass quite a few times in this match. As currently they are brawling on the outside, and those stairs have been getting a lot of use. A 5 counter, and again. And Jessica just beats the count. Ivy White, after repeatedly being thrown into those steps, cannot get back into the ring in time. Now, that is not... It's very interesting because Jessica has avoided getting 2 losses on her record, but I'm not 100% sure anybody can sit there and tell you that she beat Ivy White here.
Here is your winner, Jessica.
It will be very interesting to see how both of these women move forward after this. Now, and I mentioned the division not the deepest. I can't say that Jessica has managed to put herself in range for that title shot against Nancy Hammer, but now we get a clash between 2 crowd favorites as Regicide takes on Aiden Bourne.
Making his way to the ring from Munich, Germany, weighing in at 232 pounds, Reptile.
Now, to commit regicide is to kill a king. And Regicide has not necessarily lived up to that name since arriving here. He didn't make too much of didn't really leave a bad impression in that Scepter Quest tournament, but certainly did not win it. Certainly does not have a title match on his immediate horizon. But curious that he's in a match here tonight against Aiden Bourne, who could very easily be considered a king of people. He is the Never Man. Of course, he's a former Beer Bash champion. But the Never Man is a title that I'm not necessarily sure he holds with any contempt anymore. Obviously, this was a brand labeled on him years ago as somebody who would never really make it at the top of the division in any major wrestling promotion. But perhaps Never Say Never Man would be a better title for Aiden Bourne. That's certainly the way that he operates. It doesn't matter how undersized he is. It doesn't matter how big of a star he's up against, how ruthless of an opponent he's up against. He's coming to win, and he's not going to be daunted by anything. Now, that being said, maybe you should be a little bit daunted when you're in the ring with some of these behemoths. I mean, Regicide is not the largest man wrestling here in Ring Classic, but he dwarfs Aiden Bourne. And look at that, a military press, grabbing him by the face in order to do it. And Bourne now attacking the back. The back is what supports weight. And it tends to be something that wears out on larger opponents quite a lot. You'll have to see a lot of big guys with back problems, with knee problems, with hip problems, shoulder problems. These are the points, these weight-bearing points are the points where you're, as a smaller opponent, those are the things with big red targets on. And look at that, beautiful dropkick by Regicide. And Aiden Bourne is not daunted. Kips right up into it, eats a flying European uppercut for his troubles. Regicide, of course, German. You wouldn't necessarily know that by talking to him, because the homie does not talk, like, at all. Now, maybe that's just because I'm the American guest commentator. I was backstage. Not a lot of people really liked talking to me. So maybe he's a chatty Cathy when someone else is around. But definitely was not a poet when I was talking to him. So the front face lock and another vicious uppercut onto Aiden Bourne. Now cranking back. And you might get a little bit more leverage with the knee on the back like that, but Aiden Bourne demonstrating the problem with it. It leaves a path of escape. If you can scoot out away from your opponent's body, you can escape and generate the kind of power that he just did with that German suplex. Now targeting the arms of Regicide repeatedly. Goes for the pinfall. Not get it. Another round kick to the back, Regicide this time tanking it. Hits another one of those European uppercuts. He's seen a lot of success with those early on here tonight. Oldie with goodie with the quicker, and he's got him up. The Irish Law lands. Is that enough to put him away? No, wait. Aiden Bourne, he's going to the top rope. Gets him up. Hits him with the elbow drop. Is that enough? 1, 2. It is Aiden Bourne, the Never Man. Don't say the Never Man never can, because he just did. Aiden Bourne getting a little bit of momentum coming back after losing that beer back title. Figaro Negro Dos. Haven't seen him in a while, actually. I don't know where he's been. I don't know if we've seen him since Endgame.
Here is your winner,
Bourne now. He's fired up. He's looking at that ladder, and it looks very climbable. That ladder to the top. But speaking of the top, we look at former champion Oliver Awesome versus Henri Ginal. Oliver Awesome, of course, was the champion here before we even got televised, right? Before Ring Classic became sort of an international presence that was broadcast out when it was a local show. He was the guy that was carrying the brand. The very first show that we aired, he loses that title to Ebak. And there's got to be some resentment there. And we wonder, he made it pretty far in that Scepter Quest tournament. So did this guy. So did Henri Ginal. So really, these two guys are really trying to see, again, who can stay in that upper range.
From France,
because it's always chasing the title. Always. Anybody that tells you they're not looking for a title shot or doesn't care about belts, they're liars. Because that's what you do this for. You do this to be the best. And both of these men want to be the best. And they very much understand that the guy standing across from them wants the same thing. And the problem with being the best is you can only be one guy who's the best. Right? Even if you win that title, even if you become Ring Classic Heavyweight Champion, you now have to compare yourself to every other heavyweight champion in the world and compete with them from afar to see who can put the best resume together, to see who can do the best. It is a never-ending struggle for these boys, but they embrace it wholeheartedly.
Weighing in at 203 pounds, Oliver
Awesome, of course. Two very different styles of professional wrestler. Awesome, very influenced, I would say, by the American independent scene circa 2005. It's a lot of flash, it's a lot of technique, and a lot of dynamism. The thing that you're going to get with Henri Ginal is somebody who would have been at home in like 92, just in some beer hall beating the shit out of some guy. He's a very accomplished amateur grappler, and obviously those skills will transfer. He's also massive, so there's also those skills that are going to transfer. Oh, spinning elbow from Oliver Awesome does not knock Ginal off of his feet. Ginal, as they lock up, immediately gets that side headlock. Awesome gaining momentum, trying to shoot him off, drops down. And an arm drag, very impressive, following up with that knee. Oh, now taking it back, wrenching him up. Not sure if Awesome can escape. And he does. Takes Ginal's back now and plants him. Very impressive. Goes for the chop, misses, eats a right hand. Kick to the gut. Oof. Chop there, substantially less effective as Ginal returns with one of his own. And now, almost the same maneuver with the back clinch into back side control on the ground from Ginal. Possibly trying to get it back from Awesome. You kind of think when you're an amateur grappler and some guy who, 40, 50 pounds lighter than you comes around and puts you in the dirt, you don't want to leave that unanswered. You want to respond in kind. Ginal obviously has been doing that. He's also had a lot of success with more direct smash mouth brawling here so far. We've seen him get a lot of success with just punching him. We'll see if he can continue that trend. As Awesome again, almost trying to defy the size gap with these big power grapples. Goes in the corner, eats a kick to the head. Cartwheel moonsault. And it's the kind of offense that Awesome is more typically known for, where he can hurl himself at high velocities. Shin breaker. I mentioned earlier, of course, when you're fighting a larger man, those weight-bearing joints and limbs and areas along those lines are big targets for the smaller, more precise animal. And we saw Aiden Bourne had success with that. Aiden Bourne came off with a victory. Will Oliver Awesome be able to make the same strategic calls in this match? All now wearing out Oliver Awesome on the ground. Awesome again, going back to his chops, his back kick. Runs off the ropes and a sliding drop kick to the side of the dome piece. It may look fun. Oh, and a snap dragon suplex. Most likely thinks he's back in France right now. Still manages to have the wherewithal to kick out. DDT. And Awesome kips right back up. Gets put into the fireman's carry. Went for a military press, and he does it again. Looked like he might have buckled for a second there, but he got control over Awesome again and planted him behind it, but possibly not as devastating a maneuver as he originally intended. But now he gets that suplex toss, and now the big man going up to the top rope. Turns around, a moonsault from Henri Ginal onto Oliver Awesome. It's the meteor hitting Rhode Island. And Awesome still manages to kick out. These guys are warriors. Now with backbreaker. Northern Lights. And he rolls through. Shout out to the gunfighter. He follows that up with a brainbuster. Gets Awesome down. Awesome now fighting out of it. You can see the wear this match is having on him. Because usually you don't see a smaller guy trying to brawl out of a position like that. He usually tries to technique his way out. But when you're this hurt and when you're this tired and when you're in this much trouble with a Boston Crab or perhaps a Paris Crab, and it doesn't look like Awesome's going anywhere, but also doesn't look like he's going to tap. So Ginal very wisely, maybe he didn't have it quite locked in right. Maybe Awesome was just too tough to tap to it. But now Ginal looking for something big to put an exclamation point on the match. Went for that full Nelson. Awesome, of course, very familiar with the full Nelson, as that's how he gets into those dragon suplexes. Able to slip out of it fairly quickly. He throws Awesome out. Now, for absolutely no reason at all, he dives through the turnbuckle and hits a spinning DDT. Both men exchanging chops. Henri Ginal with the Hurricane Rana. For boot to the gut. Spinning wheel kick. It looks like that split the Frenchman open. Awesome now throws him back into the ring. Hitting a Tanahashi clothesline there. Putting him on the back foot. Open strikes to the back from Ginal. These guys have really been putting each other through some shit today. Ginal throws Awesome back to the outside. Ginal now pops him up. Cradling belly-to-belly suplex. Devastating maneuver. Could have put him out. No. Awesome kicks out. Oh, no. Hits that full Nelson again. And Awesome. Does he have the energy to get out of it? No, he doesn't. He's out. The man is unconscious, and Henri Ginal is the victor. And if I am Ebak, if I am S.A.M, if I am anybody at the top of the division, I look at that performance, and I see a guy that didn't just hit hard, he took it. Henri Ginal is going to be a problem for anyone in a one-on-one match here in Ring Classic. Of course, not afraid to fly was the big man, defying physics a couple times here tonight. scoop him belly to belly. I mean, who knows how much blood Ginal lost, and his ability to still rally from that. To stay calm is another thing. A lot of guys, they get cut, they see their own blood, and, you know, there's a reason why they call it seeing red, right? Like,
Here is your winner.
a lot of guys lose their patience in that situation, where they start to panic, where they start to overexpose themselves, trying to get one back, trying to make the other guy bleed down so it doesn't look so bad. But Ginal, he stayed the course. He kept his pace, and eventually it was just too much of an accumulated punishment for Oliver Awesome to withstand. But now, finally, we get Tommy End versus Buddy Matthews. Now, these two fought back at Beer Bash for the Ring Classic Interim Championship. And this is very important, because Tommy End won that match. But he won that match while Buddy Murphy had a foot on the ropes and the ref did not see it. Of course, I said Buddy Murphy, I meant Buddy Matthews. So the question is, did Tommy End even deserve to have that interim belt? Did he even deserve to go into the Scepter Quest Climax or Scepter Quest Finale? We call it both. Did he deserve to go into that match and fight Ebak for that championship? Or should that have been Buddy Matthews from the start? Right? How would Buddy Matthews have done in that match? Right? A very different style, a lot more long range. So in some ways, I think this match is going to be very illuminating, not only on who should have won that first fight, because look, at the end of the day, the guy with the W in his column was Tommy End. Right? By crook, by hook, by whatever, the guy that won, the guy that got his arm raised, is Tommy End. And if you know anything about the history of these two guys, it's usually Tommy End. But Buddy Matthews had his foot on the rope. So what do you do about that? It's a very good question. Now, fortunately, we can just have him fight another 1,700 times. But maybe it's important. Maybe being here in Ring Classic, it's a different environment. It's a brand new start for both guys. Both guys are alone, right? Both guys who've been known to be sort of surrounded by people are completely isolated here. This is just them. There's no disciples or dark orders or churches or evil people or brotherhoods or anything like that. It's just these two guys, and they're going to beat the shit out of each other until it's very clear who the best of them is in Ring Classic. But that's not completely evident yet. I very much look forward to finding out. And of course, if you're wondering about that eye patch, Tommy End, through his history with Buddy Matthews and other companies, has had to deal with that injury.
And his opponent from Melbourne, Australia, weighing in at 205 pounds, Buddy Matthews.
You can hear it right there in the theme. He is the secret no more. Buddy Matthews feels himself to be a prime A-tier talent who's gone unheralded throughout his tenure, both in major wrestling promotions and outside of them. A lot of people thought that the second he was a free agent, he would get scooped up and isolated, but he is not. He's been traveling all over, mostly the greater United States, but all over the world, doing the thing that he loves to do, which is let everybody know exactly what the best kept secret used to be and why it was such a big deal that they kept it. Then locking up here. Start. Tommy N getting the better with that back clinch and plants him. Tommy N arguably the better grappler among the two. But you will see Buddy Murphy is the more dynamic athlete. However, when it comes to other skills, when it comes to things like striking, I would give KO power to Tommy N. But I would give unpredictability to Buddy Matthews. I think he has a larger tool chest, which is definitely saying something because Tommy N has a massive tool chest in his own right. Both men now exchanging. Neither has really gotten a huge advantage. This has been very close, very tightly contested. Tommy N getting that back punch again, though, trying to pull away. Gets taken over. Matthews releases the headlock and hits that Hurricane Rana. Of course, shades of the Australian flag on Matthews' trunks. Tommy N gets him up and taunting by Matthews. Both of these guys have really tried to get in each other's heads over the years, and it has been years now. And look at them circling each other, trying to get better position. It's all about footwork when you're talking about two high-level strikers. And runs him off the ropes. Goes to hit with a stomp and misses out. Matthews takes advantage, pulls him back to his feet. Kicked his gut. And one to the face, a knee to the face. Goes for the pin. Only a 1 count. Oh man, flips him over the ropes. Again, this is a couple times where Matthews has found himself on the outside of those ropes. And End has taunted and now rolls him up. And he gets it. Buddy Matthews gets himself a victory over Tommy N. With a roll, just rolling him up. Taking advantage of just a slight distraction by End. End wanted to taunt him when he was on the outside. And Matthews took his shot. He's like, look, we can sit here and we can kickbox and we can drop each other on each other's heads and we can try to knee each other's faces off. Or I could try to end this right here with a good, solid pin. And he managed to do that, possibly just because End was not prepared for that kind of thing, right? Like these kind of feuds, they're not usually looking to end them quickly, but Matthews able to take advantage and get that victory, that long, evaded victory over Tommy N. Tommy N, of course, not satisfied. We will have to see how this goes between the two of them moving forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for a Ring Classic here tonight.